Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I brought my really good friend Joanna, who's also my hairstylist, onto my channel just because I get a lot of different questions about my hair and my hair extensions that I have had for now, I don't know, like a few months now. Yeah, so we're just going to answer some different questions, and I thought she's more of the expert about it. So yeah, let's get started.
Okay.
Okay, so the first question is, what are the different types of hair extensions? We both work at a salon, and a lot of people come in asking what the different types are and what the differences are. So I have tape-in extensions, and she has...
I actually have weaves. In my hair. Good old weaves, the classic weave. Yeah, so there's a few different ones. So you have your temporary hair extensions, which are obviously the like wigs or clip-ins, and then you have your semi-permanent extensions, which is your tape-ins, your weave, your beads, or like the keratin beads. There's like, I forget what they're called, but they're like little metal pieces that like clip on over the hair, just maybe.
Oh, I think I've seen those before.
Yeah, and like I don't know what they're called. I've only seen them like once before. And then like there's a bunch of like different, like, I don't really know what the word is, like not so popular versions of extensions. Like there's tons and tons and tons of them, but the main ones are the tape-in, the weave, and the beads.
The next question is, how do I know which are best for my hair? This is another question that I see just like through friends and like people coming to the salon asking about it, because just I think there's some misconceptions about hair extensions. But yeah, how do you kind of know, like...
Well, a lot of it is on your hair type. So I have a lot of people saying, well, oh, my hair's too fine for extensions. You'll see the extensions. Or a lot of people saying, oh, my hair is way too thick for extensions. So a lot of it too is how they're placed and how they're cut and how your hair is cut. If your hair is really, really thick, the best one, yeah. I mean, like you have thick hair, but it's not like overly thick hair. Like I would say it's more medium thick. So yeah, you actually have very ideal hair where you could probably honestly do any extension. Like I would say medium fine, medium thick is like you can kind of get away with anything as long as you have enough hair up here. Mostly this is because this is gonna cover. So we actually go quite high with her extensions, like they're right up there, because she has enough hair that it'll cover. But it's just because she has a high density. If you have a low density, the best ones I would say are either the tape-ins or the beads. The thing with the beads is you have a smaller amount of hair, but you still have to go lower, right? Like if you don't have a lot of hair up here, you still have to go quite a bit lower. But the tape-ins like quite flat. So that's another perk. So if you have a little bit higher, like a medium density or a high density, the tapes are good because you can go higher. If you have a very fine density, I would still probably go with the tapes just because they're so flat, whereas the beads are still like quite bumpy and you can see them. But if you want to get like really tiny pieces, you can take smaller pieces of the hair and go up a little further. So it really depends on what you want and your haircut. One thing is you want long layers. If you don't have long layers, extensions aren't gonna work because
yeah, you always see sometimes those girls who have like the really short layers and then like it just doesn't blend regardless of what they do, I think. Exactly.
And so the shorter layers that you have, the higher up you have to go. so the less it blends, the more you see it. So you ideally just want long layers in general, and then you don't have to go so high. But me personally, like I have short hair, like my hair is probably like right here. I got extensions, but they go down to like right here. So the layers are fine. But I have weaves because my hair is so thick. So the weaves that you need really, really, really thick hair, or like dense hair, because they stick out. As you can already see, they like to stick out. So when I wear my hair up, it's like that. But I guess it's just like person to person and what's comfortable.
Finding a good stylist
yeah.
who knows what they're doing. Okay, the next question is roughly how much do extensions cost? And I think this like varies between like stylist to stylist and like salons and what kind of extensions you're getting.
Yeah, there's two costs. One is application, so that's just the technique of the stylist putting it in your hair, and then the second cost is the extensions. Now, depending on what stylist, they'll either say, nope, you need to use my brand, or say, just get whatever, whatever you want. So I'm the type of stylist where it's like, you know what, you can get high quality extensions or you can get low quality extensions, whatever one. I suggest a lot of the time to try out a little bit of lower quality extensions just to see how you like them. Like as well as if you're like Miss Kristina here and change your hair color all the time, it's kind of, unless you're like, you know, rich, then it's a little bit more worth it to like go onto eBay, where you get yours and just get cheap ones and keep changing them. Because, I mean, we can get like, what, 2 uses out of it?
Definitely.
And then it's...
Maybe 3. I think it's a lot too. Depends how good you're taking care of the extensions as well.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Get mine from eBay. They're actually pretty okay quality for eBay.
I'm very surprised. I've actually ordered like clip-in extensions before and they weren't this good.
Yeah, like, I've had friends who have gotten clip-ins and they're not that great from eBay. But I mean, like eventually, once I stick with a hair color, I'll probably move up and get like the Bellamy ones or something.
The Bellamy.
Yes.
So what I personally charge is about like, it starts around $150. If you have tons of hair and it's taken longer, it's obviously going to go up from there. $150 is my tape-in price. I only do tape-ins because I cannot braid. I know, I'm a stylist. I should be able to braid. My fingers don't want to braid, okay? Give me a break. But
okay, I can't French braid, like, for the life of me.
Yeah, but you're not a stylist. But that's my personal tape-in rate. I'm very quick. I can do it in about like half an hour to 45 minutes. So like for me, $150 I think is a fair price. And then you can spend a good chunk on the extensions.
Like literally I think the most asked question to me since I've gotten extensions just by like pretty much anyone is how do you wash them?
Well, and fun fact, Kristina doesn't wash them.
Okay.
I wash them.
So if you are friends with a stylist, get them to wash them. It's a lot easier and more convenient.
If they want to. I like doing all my friends' hair. So.
Yeah, the actual process of washing them is the same. You just have to be a bit more gentler and more aware of what is on your head.
Yeah, but you don't want to wash the extensions. You just want to wash your roots, and then the soap will just, the suds and stuff, when you rinse it out, will clean it. And that goes for whenever you wash your hair. Yeah. It's not just, but especially with extensions, because if you're washing your extensions, one, you're going to dry them out, and 2, you're going to use like way too much product.
Another thing with the tape-ins at least, you want to be making sure that your hair is not getting too oily because that's kind of what breaks down the actual tape. And then what I use currently to wash them is the Redken All Soft shampoo and conditioner. I think anything moisturizing though is good.
Moisturizing, I usually recommend something more smoothing. Because it just kind of like the hair is so different from your hair.
Yeah.
Like it has no natural oils to oil it down, so it's really dry compared to the rest. And I get a lot of questions too. It's like, well, if I use something that's heavy and frizz dismissing on my extensions, that's gonna make my hair go flat. This line's great because it doesn't do that.
Thing too with extensions, you want to be making sure you are doing treatments and masks on them, because if you don't, they are going to dry the F out. Yeah, and they
real quick.
They won't look cute.
No. Every time I do a shampoo, unless we're in a hurry, every time I do shampoo on Kristina, we put a mask on it or an Olaplex on it. And then she does it at home in between too. So I usually say once a week, once every 2 weeks. You want to be putting a mask on, leaving it as long as possible. So 3 big ones. You want to use a clarifying shampoo and nothing else in your hair. Sometimes it's okay to use a tiny bit of conditioner. So there's absolutely no oil, no buildup in the hair. Before you put any adhesive on the hair.
I grabbed a couple.
Oh yes, okay, so the 3 main ones that you want to use while you have your extensions in. First one, after you wash your hair, it's all clean and fresh, you want to spray on leave-in conditioner before you put a brush, because that's going to help detangle. You won't pull on the extensions as much, as well as it's going to help hydrate. And don't be afraid to get your extensions oily. It will soak it up, I promise. They are so dry. I actually tell people all the time, it's like, make your hair look oily or greasy. A heat spray, which I am very bad at.
Yes, I have to remind you.
I usually put in like a heat protectant before I blow dry, so it like...
It scares me actually how many people come in and are like, oh, I don't use a heat protectant, and I'm just like, you are frying your hair. Imagine you're putting your hair in an oven.
So another thing which is really important is oil. You want to be oiling your hair, I would say at least every 2 hours.
It sounds excessive, but you kind of can feel it. Like, you'll be like, oh, my hair needs some oil, and it makes a really big difference, because if you don't, then it starts matting, and it starts just looking really straggly and ratchet.
Yeah, I usually suggest like brushing it every 2 hours too. I know it seems a lot of effort, but
you get used to it really fast.
It just becomes a lifestyle real quick. So I usually suggest to oh yes, brushes. Let's talk about brushes.
So I have an extension brush. The extension brushes are basically the ones that they have like little loops, and I think they're just better for not ripping out them. I don't actually know the point of them.
It doesn't snag. Now the little bulbs at the end. So anything with a bulb on it, you don't want. So the brushes specifically for extensions have a wider surface on the end, so they don't snag as much. So I personally like those better.
That people think is that extensions are going to make your hair fall out, or like, I don't, like make bald spots or something like that, like,
which can happen, but also
disclaimer, not saying it's not going to happen.
So tape-ins are typically the best for your hair because they don't have any braids in it, so it's not tugging at your hair. I also go a little bit farther away from the root because I've personally had tape-ins, and I've had a lot of other people had tape-ins that are just like, ow.
Or they get kind of itchy.
Bit. Yeah, exactly. But, I mean, tape-ins aren't going to do anything. It's nice to let your hair breathe once in a while. So I would say like after like 6 rounds, or even in between your hair, like I say give it a week and just let your hair breathe.
You're definitely going to feel balls.
You get used to it.
You get used to it. It was like the first few days I was like, wow, I'm bald, but
them in properly and you take care of them and you take care of your hair properly, then it won't happen. Tape-ins are typically the best for your hair because they don't pull on your hair as much and there's no really strong adhesive. Weaves can be damaging if you get them done constantly, and in the same spots on that one spot, then yeah, it's gonna rip out the hair. It's gonna damage the follicle, and it can cause permanent baldness. Clip-ins. If you're gonna be putting clip-ins in your hair every day, you need to be putting them in different spots. Otherwise, you will have bald patches.
Right, the other big myth is that your extensions won't blend, and we kind of talked about that earlier, that if you have really short layers, that they're not going to blend as well.
And also with the extensions, you have to cut your extensions after, unless you're literally just going in to fill in bits, right? So like if you were just putting in the same length, but yeah, just going thicker, then you don't really have to cut. I mean, the way I've cut her extensions, this is her layer right there, and I mean that's a pretty big difference. So what I've done is I've gone in and done some techniques to make it lay better, and I also put the extensions quite high, so I'm not really too worried about the underneath.
Yeah, it's like definitely how they're cut, because when I got my extensions, like they're 22 inches and they just come as 22 inches, so if I didn't get them cut, I would just have like my hair, extension hair, and it would look really unnatural and not like aesthetic. Hopefully you learned something new today, or if you're interested in kind of getting extensions, maybe we gave you a little bit of education. But yeah, so if you want to, wait, that sounds stupid. If you want Joanna to do my hair for some different ideas, then give this video a thumbs up and share, and please
do another hair video on like more hair basics, more like a Q&A. Put down any hair question. This is obviously mostly directed at extensions, but put any hair questions at all you have toward hair.
Thanks for watching, everyone, and we will see you next time.